Man, some shit has gone down in New York City, okay? Some shit has gone down in New York City. I don't know if you guys seen this, but New York City couple's dream wedding destroyed by hotel's noise restriction. $5 million lawsuit says, right? Claims. It finally happened. Finally happened, people, okay? Someone finally sued a venue for this shit. It's insane. This is the couple, okay? They had their wedding at in Brooklyn, okay? And it's crazy. Like it's definitely crazy. Like they went all. It was one of those bigger weddings, right? That where they went all out. I always said before in the show, like, you know, there's a lot of different levels to these weddings, right? You know, like, you know, money wise, like how big it is, right? There's, you know, lower end weddings. There's like, you know, in the middle weddings. There's super nice weddings, and then there's like next level weddings. Well, a real good tell to, you know, let you know, if you walk into a room and you see this, you can pretty much bank that it's a very, very expensive wedding. I always say, look at the flowers, right? And this wedding was no exception. This is just like shitty pictures they had in the article. I guess they're like iPhone pictures, but legit, they had flowers for days, okay? For days. And they actually said in the article, tied the knot, lavish ceremony with 200 guests at the Brooklyn Pier 1 Hotel on September 18th for a price of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this includes $150,000 on flowers alone. On flowers alone. And I believe it. Holy shit, right? When you got like, you know, foliage hanging from the rafters, you know it's an expensive ass wedding. Crazy stuff. Anyway, so they're suing the venue because there was a noise restriction in the venue. So the DJ apparently couldn't go over a certain volume. And they didn't know about it until the day of when they're trying to party and the DJ's music's not loud enough, okay? Now, this is crazy. It finally happened where someone's actually suing the venue because it's crazy to me. I can name 6 venues off the top of my head that I've been to that does this exact thing. Literally has a noise restriction, doesn't tell the couple. At least I'm not in their meetings, but I know for a fact, like I've never had a couple, you know, inquire and say, hey, you know, we're interested to have you as a DJ. Just so you know, my venue only lets you play. You have to stay under 90 decibels. Is that cool? Like I've never had that happen in a meeting. No one has ever prefaced me with that. Like it's never happened. So to me, I feel like, and why would they tell them, right? You know, oh, beautiful place, you like it, but just so you know, we have to keep it under 90 decibels. So, you know, we're going to be party poopers all night. Like they don't tell them, right? No venue says nothing. So it's crazy it took this long, but I think it's a combination of two things. Okay. One, this is a very expensive wedding. This is obviously a wealthy family that had the wedding. I think they're like tycoons or something like that. They said in the article who it was. But very wealthy wedding, right? Very wealthy family. So, you know, they're like, they can afford a lawyer, I guess. I don't know how that, you know, lawsuit shit works, whatever. Maybe it's pro bono. I don't know. But that combined with our hero, and he's an unlikely hero, our DJ. The DJ of this wedding is kind of a hero because it says right in this article, the music shushing disaster spoiled the couple's first dance, and after a DJ refused to turn up the tunes, relegated guests to a small dark room on the second floor of the building next door, according to the Newmans. They're the parents of the bride, who are suing the hotel and their wedding planner, who's one of those celebrities from The Real Housewives of Miami. So the quote, after a DJ refused to turn up the tunes. Not what I would have done. Not what I would have done, okay? But he's still a hero for it. That takes balls. I don't know one DJ that would have like a couple or a mom and dad or whoever come up to them and be like, you got to turn it up, and wouldn't turn it up. Like anytime I've ever been in this situation, I always took the other way. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, let's I'm going to turn it up as loud as you want. And then the venue comes, you better turn it down. The cops are going to come. Sorry, it's not going to happen. You better turn it down right now. You know, I can't tell you how many times I have this conversation. I just tell them, like, listen, I'm not going to turn it down. That's not going to happen. But I tell you what, the wedding's done in 2 hours. And after that, you never have to see me again because I won't be back. Promise. Okay? Because every wedding's a Super Bowl. I'm not listening to this stupid venue and keeping my music so low where the party's not going to happen, right? Like, it's going to be like no one's going to want to dance because the music's not loud enough. Like, you got to realize, you know, we all know there's an invisible line. Like, the music has to be so loud for you to be able to build a dance floor. Music has to be so loud so you can command a room when you're emceeing. It just has to be a certain, I'm not saying blaring. I'm not saying you have to make people's ears bleed, but there is a threshold. If you're under that threshold, you cannot, I don't care how good of an MC you are, how good of a DJ you are, if you're under that threshold and you're just not loud enough, you will not succeed. You're not going to be able, it's going to be a boring wedding. You're not going to be able to do anything with that crowd. It's just a fact. If people can talk over your music, then subconsciously your music becomes background music. Just like they're shopping at the grocery store, at the mall, whatever's just playing in the background. You can have a conversation over it. You're not paying attention to what the DJ's doing. There's a threshold. And I know so many venues that don't let you go over that threshold. And all of them I've only worked at once because I'll never go back, right? But it always boggled my mind because I know they never told the couples this, right? And the couples spend all this money. And how hasn't there not been a lawsuit yet, you know? And I kind of thought in the back of my head, like, well, maybe it's just not, you know, they can't. But this proves it, at least in the state of New York, the lawyer took it. So it means they have some kind of legal, you know, footing here. Craziness. So again, I don't know who this DJ is. If anybody, you know, if you end up seeing this or whatever, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you and hear your side of the story. This guy or girl, they took the route I wouldn't have taken. Okay, I always take the other route and say, okay, I'm going to turn it up and screw this venue. But in doing so, he became a hero because he decided not to turn it up, saying, listen, I'm going to stick to these rules. Okay, whatever the decibel, you know, limit was or whatever, we're going to stick to this. Sorry, I got to do what I got to do. That ruined the wedding, which is a shame, but this actually caused them to sue because it was such a big deal. And now maybe this, you know, news will kind of spread around and kind of, you know, light a fire under certain venues' asses. Okay. Because if you think about it, some venues have some of the venues that I know that do this, they may have the option to soundproof their venue, invest probably tens of thousands of dollars, a lot of money. It probably costs a lot of money. Let's be realistic, right? But they probably have that option where they have enough space in between their nearest neighbor where if they properly soundproof the venue, they can get away, you know, better with sound and stuff. And then just make sure the music's done at 10, maybe whatever. You know, if it's a cutoff, I get it. You could tell them ahead of time, you can't go later than 10. All couples know that, and you know, up front, if there's like a curfew at a venue, they know it up front. They agree with it. That's fine. I don't think it's a big deal in that, right? You soundproof it right. You don't have to worry about nothing. Other venues are literally in the middle where there's nothing you could do. Even if you soundproofed it, you're still going to have people complaining about noise. Maybe you got a crazy neighbor. There's nothing you can do, right? There's certain situations, I'm sure, where there's nothing you could do. And in that situation, I say burn the place down. Sell it. Let someone go make a bakery there or something. Just sell it. Just get rid of it. You can't have a venue there. People that have venues in places where you can't turn up, it's stupid. Why have events there? Or just do corporate events where it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you got a bunch of people in suits and ties and doing speeches. You know what I mean? Do those events. Don't do weddings. Okay, every wedding's a Super Bowl. Don't do a once-in-a-lifetime event that is literally the success of the event is all about the music and people having a good time, you know? Not to mention, okay, not to go on a whole rant, but I hope some of these venues see this somehow. Share it. Whenever I talk shit on a venue, you guys always share it with somebody, and I, you know, whatever. So at least share this, okay? I'm not naming on any venue specifically, but not to mention, if you have this thing where you can't go over this noise, you're constantly, you know, using your staff or yourself, bothering a DJ. It's a constant battle with a DJ, which is a pain in the ass. Plus, if they can't be loud enough, the guest experience isn't going to be great. So people aren't going to look at your venue like it was, oh, I had so much fun at that venue. No, it was cool. The food was all right. You know, the party was all right. And that's it. And they leave. You want everybody to rage every single wedding because then they're going to have that perception of your venue. Like, wow, last time I was there, it was the funnest wedding ever. The venue was great. Oh my God. They're going to have a better perception of your venue. It's just a fact. And I'm hoping that this lawsuit serves as like a monumental court case that we can like point to and be like, oh, I hope this lawsuit spreads around and other couples start asking their venues like, hey, you know, is there a noise? Is there anything I should know about? You know, anything I should know about? If you're watching this and you're having your wedding at a venue that happens to be in a neighborhood, you might want to ask them, you know, is there any noise limitation I should know about? Anything? I know a venue that is very fancy, okay? It's in New Jersey. It's got like 30-foot ceilings. Oh, beautiful, right? Marble floors, cocktail hour spread, obnoxious, like beautiful, really nice place. Very, very nice place. You walked into this place, right? The average person walks into this place, you'd be like, whoa, this is a cool spot, right? Beautiful, beautiful place. I'm sure they charge top dollar. They have a light that's like this big, and it blinks red when you hit 90 decibels. I think 90 or 100, something like that. It blinks red. Literally flashes red, almost like a cop light. And you're told there that when that light flashes, you turn your shit down immediately. And then there's like a rule thing on the wall where you set up, and it says something like a 3-step rule. Like if at strike 3, then they can like shut you down or something. It's like all this threats. It's insane. And this is a very, very, very fancy venue. So it's not just relegated to like whatever little barn in the middle of nowhere. It's all kinds of venues. It's insane. We have like an epidemic of venues. I mean, maybe it's just in my area. You guys tell me in the comments or whatever if you guys have any venues like this where you're from, right? It could be different, but it's crazy. Definitely, definitely, definitely crazy stuff. And I hope this kind of changes things. I hope this lights a fire under all their asses because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I got to fight for the couple. It's a stressful wedding the whole time because you're dealing with them, and the noise and all this. Oh, well, the cops are going to come. Well, we'll deal with the cops when they come then. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I got to be at least this loud. Like, this is my minimum volume. I don't know. I'm not stupid. I want to have this wedding. This wedding needs to be. I want it to be a party. Okay, they can't redo this. They literally can't redo this, and that's what they're suing for too. And I hope they win. I really do. If they win, it's going to change things finally. Finally.